When you scan through Kenya's National Music Policy of 2015, you should be able to appreciate at least 3 important points. The first point is that music has a greater potential of enhancing the identity of a country while at the same time creating employment for its people. The second point is that in Kenya, music is not only the most highly consumed commodity, but is also home to artists who create music of different genres. The third point is a sad one, that despite this high level of music consumption, it has neither created meaningful employment for artists, neither has it created a viable tax base for the government. The former CS of Sports, Culture and Arts, Dr. Hassan Wario, acknowledges in the foreword of the policy that this sad state of affairs is attributable to a number of factors, which include lack of adequate enforcement measures for copyright and generally intellectual property law. I agree. In fact, this forms the basis upon which I introduce a 3-part series on understanding copyright law. Guys, I want you to understand one thing. There is a growing trend world over, and Africa in particular, where wealth is continuously being redistributed to other sectors. Music is one such sector, and if we are to seize the best of this opportunity, then those of us who are privileged with this knowledge are to teach others who don't know these things so that they can benefit of their hard work. We're just getting started, so stay with me. Hey, what's up people, and welcome to today's vlog. If you're new here, please consider subscribing and hit the notification bell just so that you don't miss out on any notification. Whether you are a musician, an innovator, graphic designer, you name it, your work needs protection of the law. Why? Because your work is your property. Now, being that it is your property, it is capable of earning you a living. Sadly though, there are certain unscrupulous persons and entities, including music promoters, who are aware of this fact and are out to rip you off the benefit that otherwise accrue out of your copyrighted music. And therefore, at the end of this topic, we will have learned how to avoid such kind of exploitation. Listen, the Constitution of Kenya 2010 has granted every person the right to own property. For purposes of this vlog, property is distinguished as between tangible and intangible property. Tangible property are such things that you can see and touch. Your house, your car, your money. You know, those are things that we can touch and we can see. Those are tangible property. Intangible property are those that we can neither see nor touch, but are nonetheless considered as property. You know, these are such things that you come up with through your creative thinking process, special skills and talent, and in law, we refer to them as intellectual property. In fact, under Article 40, Sub-Article 4 of the Constitution, the government is mandated to protect and promote your intellectual property, which includes your music. But what really is copyright? In simple layman's language, it is the right to copy. This is a branch of intellectual property law that protects original works of authorship, including copyright, and your music is included in that. The specific law that protects copyright in Kenya is the Copyright Act, Chapter 130 Laws of Kenya. If you read around section 22 and 23 of the Act, you realize that as long as you have recorded your music, it stays with you for the entire of your lifetime, plus 50 years after your death. Gets better. Now, for you to acquire copyright, there are certain things that you have to do to help the government help you in protecting your rights. First off, your song has to be fixated. That is to say that you have to reduce it into some form that we, the rest of the world, can understand and interact with. Now, Section 22 of the Act, of the Copyright Act, provides that your song shall not be eligible for copyright protection unless and until it is original, it is reduced into some written form, it is recorded or otherwise reduced into some material form. That is to mean, if you're a musician, you have to rush to Clitchy Records or whichever music recording studio and have your song recorded. When that is done, you don't need to do anything else. In fact, you don't even need to go and register your copyright. Registration is important, but it's not mandatory. And I will talk about this in the subsequent episodes of this topic. But for now, let's look at what are the benefits of copyright. If your work is copyrighted, there are certain benefits that accrue, and these rights, in fact, are not available to any other person. For example, your permission will be needed if your work is to be reproduced. That is where we are talking about such issues as remixing of your songs and the production of covers. You know, your permission will have to be acquired for that to be done. We are also talking about the benefit of distribution. For your work to be distributed by record labels, whether physical or digital, your permission has to be acquired through the contracts that you sign. You know, you call them record label deals, and any other means. And therefore, copyright is important in that aspect. We are also talking about the right to public performance. You are the only person who has a right to perform your song, and if anyone wants to, perform your song, then they have to acquire prior permission from you. You have the right to communication to the public concerning your song, and therefore nobody else is supposed to do that unless and until they acquire prior permission from you. Now I know you're asking, how does all of this work in my favor as an artist? How do I make money off of my copyrighted work? The Copyright Act has created a body known as the Kenya Copyright Board. This board has been mandated with the power to supervise and license other bodies that are called collecting societies. Collecting societies are organizations which have their main object as negotiating and collecting royalties on your behalf. I know it's getting interesting, but this is just but a foundation. So please join me here in the next episode of this topic so that we can go into deeper, details on the role of the collecting societies. We'll talk about MCSK, which is a society for musicians. We'll talk about PRISC, which is a society for music performers, and CAMP, which is a society for music producers. Remember, if you're new here, please subscribe and hit the notification bell just so that you can get ahead with all the uploads that are coming up. Also, if you like this video, leave a comment so that I can know what you expect or what you liked and what I can improve on. Till next time, ciao.